Okay, so yesterday we were discussing the application of D'Alembert's principle for the for the derivation of Lagrange equation. So we know that what is actually the D'Alembert's principle. The D'Alembert's principle says it's in written in the equation form is like uh, sigma for I equal to 1 to n. So please remember n corresponds to total number of particles, and Fi minus Fi minus Pi dot delta Ri equal to 0. So this is my D'Alembert's principle. According to this principle, the total virtual work done on any moving particle is equal to the applied forces plus the reverse effective forces equal to 0. So here the sum of all these individual works carried out by individual particles will be 0. So this delta r corresponds to the virtual displacement. This displacement happens only at any given instant of time. It doesn't. It is not a displacement in the real space. It is a. You can understand that time is not changing. So very small infinite simul displacement can be treated as virtual displacement. So conceptually, this concept is important. That's why I am repeating many times. So if there is a displacement from one point to another point, let's say A to B, and this displacement I represent by delta R. Okay, let's draw a little bigger. Okay, so let's say A and B. Here I am making big, but let's consider this is very small. So I have moved a particle from A to B. So there is some displacement, but during this displacement, the time does not change, or you can say the time dt equal to 0. Okay, so this time uh, does not change. So we call this as D'Alembert's principle. Okay, and then okay, so only important thing of using this virtual displacement is that this r is a function of generalized coordinates q1, q2 up to qn. Again, one more second, I will join you back. Okay, so this virtual displacement is a function of generalized coordinates. So I can say r is a function of r q1, q2, q3 up to qn. So this q represents my generalized coordinates. Okay, so what do you mean by generalized coordinates? By generalized coordinates, it means that these coordinates are independent of each other. Okay, so when the all the coordinates are independent of each other, we can consider them as generalized coordinates. But if we take coordinates like r1, r2, r3, which we used to have a function of x, y, z coordinates. So if there are presence of constraint forces, if you have some constraint forces, these coordinates r1, r2, r3, they may not be independent. So in such cases, the number of coordinates because of these constraints will be decreased or reduced. So we represent those coordinates as generalized coordinates. So in classical mechanics, the concept of generalized coordinate is very important. So we must know that whenever you use the generalized coordinates, we basically trying to eliminate these constraint forces. So if you are understanding in this way that we are writing equation of motion in terms of generalized coordinates, that means we simply eliminate these constraint forces, and thereby our derivation becomes easy. So D'Alembert's law is basically coming from the virtual displacement, and this is sort of function of generalized coordinates. So we don't have any constraint forces here. Okay, so this is what we have discussed in previous classes, so about the D'Alembert's principle. Now, based on this principle, we had yesterday tried to derive Lagrange equation. So what we have done is uh, we have calculated some derivations. So this is, let's say this was equation number third in the yesterday class. Okay, then we have derived Fi dot delta Ri. Fi dot delta Ri is equal to k equal to 1 to n Fi delta Ri by delta Qk delta Qk. Okay, so this is the derivation yesterday we got for the first part, that is my Fi minus Pi dot. So the first component, which is the applied forces. So this is my applied forces on the any particle. So I have derived this, and this further I have written as Gk into delta Qk, where Gk is my called generalized force. So when I say generalized force, it doesn't mean that this will have the units of force. So it is just a generalized force corresponding to this whole term. So when I say generalized coordinates, it doesn't mean it is having a dimensions or units of x, y, z. It can be theta, phi, anything can be. So if my generalized coordinate is like r dot, so this is my generalized coordinate. So when I say what is my generalized velocity, then my generalized velocity will be r double dot. So in actual coordinates, this is velocity and this is acceleration. But for the case of generalized coordinate, if I consider this as generalized coordinate, then my generalized velocity will be r double dot. So generalized coordinates need not to be same as those of the coordinate systems which we study. Okay. So here gk corresponds to the generalized force. This we have written as equation number 4. And then we have derived some equations like for the second component we have pi dot delta ri. This we have got equation like k equal to 1 to n mi ri double dot delta ri delta qk and delta qk. So here I am using this small n. So this represent number of generalized coordinates. So there is some background sound because some work is going in college, so we cannot escape it. So is it very noisy? Is this background sound is noisy to you?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so then it is fine. So this we have got the second part, and then we have tried to derive this part. Okay, so in classical mechanics you will come across lot of derivations, so you have to practice these derivations. Okay, so then we have more components. Okay, so we have some other. I will write just equations, and then we can go to directly. So we have mi ri double dot delta ri by delta qk, and this we have got as ddt of mi ri dot delta ri by delta q of uh, k minus mi ri dot ddt of delta ri by delta qk. Okay, so this we also derived. So this is my equation number 5, and this was my equation number 6 yesterday. And then we have another equation. So we have to solve this part. So what we did is we have derived this part as ddt of delta ri by delta qk, and this we come to a sort of j equal to 1 to n delta square ri delta qj delta qk into qj dot plus delta square ri by delta qk into delta t. Delta qk into delta t. So this is my equation number 7. Okay, so this we have already derived yesterday. And then after that we have derived one more equation, that is uh, delta of Vi by delta of Qk, and that also same like this. So it is the same equation. So we had known that we can actually interchange, but that is not possible. So we have to do separately. So it is the same also. 1 delta square Ri delta Qj delta Qj dot plus delta square Ri by delta Qk delta T. So these two terms 7 and 8, what does they indicate? That ddt of delta Ri by delta Qk is equal to delta Vi by delta Qk. Okay, so this is my equation number 9. So we had derived this part also. Then we have tried to derive one more term, that is delta Vi by delta Qk dot. So with respect to the velocity, generalized velocity. So when I say Qk, it means generalized coordinate. When I say Qk dot, it means generalized velocity. If I say Qk double dot, so it means generalized acceleration. And if I say Gk, so it means it is a generalized force. It's a generalized force. So these terms uh, may or may not be same to our notions of like xyz. Okay, so this thing you have now, don't get confused. So here I am taking delta Vi by delta Qk dot. So this is generalized velocity, and this is my actual velocity. So it's like delta Vi is nothing but dr by dt. So then we have tried to solve this, and what we got is this is equal to delta Ri by delta Qk. So this derivation we have also seen. So we have given it as equation number 10, and we find that okay, so this is equation number 10. We had all this, and then substituting 10, 9, 8. Okay, so 8, 7 gives me 9. Okay, so we have 10, 9, 9, 10, and 6 and 5. So I have this equation fifth. So I have this equation I have to substitute, and inside this fifth I have this part. So fifth and sixth basically like same equation only. I have just separated the inner part and written as sixth part, and then I have calculated this part and this whole part, because uh, uh, where is this delta Ri by delta Qk. Okay, so here I can substitute my this part delta Ri by delta Qk. I can replace by delta Vi by delta Qk dot. So first part here I can keep delta Vi by delta Qk dot, and here delta Ri by delta Qk I can keep delta Vi by delta Qk. Is it? Let me see. Okay, so this part is delta Vi by delta Qk dot, and this is delta Vi by delta Qk. So these two parts. Okay, so I can rewrite this part slightly different. This is my delta Ri by delta Qk is equal to delta Vi by delta Qk dot. So let's say this is equation 10. So here now we go back to this equation. Okay, so this equation, if you remember, so here I have ddt of delta Ri by delta Qk. Ddt of delta Ri by delta Qk is equal to delta Vi by delta Qk. So here I substitute equation 9, this part. Okay, so here I will keep my equation 9, and delta Ri by delta Qk, delta R by delta Qk, I will keep equation 10. So here I will keep my equation 10, and these two I will substitute in this part. Okay, so you take this, you have a summation k equal to 1 to n, and this whole part, and then you just replace this part by equation 9 and this part by equation 10. So finally I will substitute. So what I have to do is I will write substituting 9 and 10 in equation 6, okay, or you can say or equation 5, because they are just slightly different. So the actual equation is equation 5, but we can say that it's equation 6 also. Okay, so what we will get after substituting is I will write the whole equation. So up to this point we have yesterday derived I equal to 1 to n, because this is number of particles, pi dot delta I. This whole term is the reverse effective force, and we have k equal to 1 to n and I equal to 1 to n. So this represents the generalized coordinates and this represents my total number of particles. So this is equation number 5 only. So we have ddt mi vi delta vi by delta qk dot minus mi vi delta vi by delta qk into delta qk. Okay, so now I can rewrite this. This is like mi vi delta vi by delta qk dot is like half mi vi square. So I can rewrite this part, and similarly I can also rewrite this part. So just rewriting the parts. So I will keep k equal to 1 to n generalized coordinates, and ddt of I will take this whole part outside, delta by delta qk dot I equal to 1 to n half mi vi dot vi. Okay, so this summation part was taken inside because I will vary from 1 to n and k will vary from 1 to n. So hope this part is clear. So because the k part is outside, the k is here and I can be taken inside. So this is the first part, and the second part we can again write this to take this delta qk outside, because k and I they are independent of each other. So k represents my number of generalized coordinate and I represents my number of particles. So that's why they don't interfere with each other. I will write here I equal to 1 to n half mi vi dot vi delta qk. Okay, so this k will apply for the whole equation and I will for the individual mi and vi. So this is with respect to qk. So vi, if you solve it, you will get basically this term. So if you differentiate with this whole part, so mi will be coming out. So it's like vi square. So 2 vi, 2 will cancel out. So it's just the same thing as the upper term. So let's say this is my equation number uh, 11. So this is nothing but kinetic energy. So I will rewrite this whole term as k equal to 1 to n ddt of delta t by delta qk dot minus delta t by delta qk into delta qk. So let's say this is my equation 11. Okay, so this is the first part where T is my kinetic energy of the system. Okay, now what we have is 11th equation is this pi dot. Okay, we have one more component, that is Fi dot. If you remember the D'Alembert's principle, coming to this part. So here you have Fi minus Pi dot. So we have calculated a Fi here, equation 4. So you take this part, substitute here, and Pi dot we have calculated also. So we will keep both of these parts in equation 3. So equation 4, and we will write substituting equation 4 and equation 11 in equation 3. So in the D'Alembert's principle, equation 3 is the D'Alembert's principle, equation 4 is the generalized force, and equation 11 just now we have derived is the component of reverse effective force. So substituting all in the D'Alembert's principle, what we get is K equal to 1 to N d dt of delta t by delta qk dot minus delta t by delta qk minus gk delta qk equal to 0. Okay. Okay. So now we know that all these constants, if so, this is my equation number, let's say. Okay, we will write one more step. So this part is clear. We have kept this in the formula Fi minus Pi dot delta Ri equal to 0. So this is I equal to 1 to N. Okay. So this I is inside this T. So all the ith terms, they are included in this T terms and GK terms. And because this is function of generalized coordinates, so we have all the generalized coordinates in this summation K equal to 1 to N. Okay. Now, because constraint forces are 0. Okay. So when I say I'm using generalized coordinates, so when I'm using generalized coordinates, the constraint forces are like holonomic. Okay, so they will follow equal to things. So these individual terms will be 0. Individual terms will be 0. So why? Because qk is independent of each other. We know that when the coordinates are independent, then the coefficients will become 0. Okay, we have discussed this thing. Like if I have uh, I equal to 1 to N, Ci, and let's say the delta Qk. So if Q is my generalized coordinates or independent coordinates, then all the Ci must be 0 for this condition to show. So if this condition has to be satisfied, that means the coefficient should become 0. So this is from the basic understanding. Whenever we have independent coordinates, that means the coefficient must be 0 to satisfy the summation to be 0. So here my individual terms will be 0. So what does that give me? So now I have nothing to do with this summation part. So I can write ddt delta t minus delta t by delta qk dot minus delta t by delta qk equal to gk. So this is generalized force. Let's say this is equation 12. So this is my sort of general form of Lagrange equation. Okay, so we can write even gk in terms of this whole stuff. So once we write, we will have a uniform or more accepted form of the Lagrange equations. But this is also my Lagrange equation. Okay, so I can say this is my like initial form of Lagrange equation. Now what I have to do is I will consider a case of conservative forces. For the case One second. Okay, so where was we? We have got this part. Now we will consider case conservative forces. So for conservative forces, we have the applied force Fi can be written as a gradient of some potential V. Okay, so we can write Gk in the similar way. So we can extend it. So we know that Gk is from I equal to 1 to n, and this whole term, if I expand, is it's like delta V by delta Xi and delta X by delta Qk. Okay, so my, because it is a function of generalized coordinates, so I have to write in this manner. Similarly, I will write for all other terms delta yi by delta qk plus delta v by delta zi, delta zi by delta qk. Okay, so if I have to rewrite this, is this will become minus delta v by delta qk. So let's say this is equation number 13. Okay, so now we can substitute this part in equation number 12. So here I can substitute minus delta v by delta qk. So what is my equation? Equation was ddt of delta t by delta qk dot minus delta t by delta qk equal to minus delta v by delta q. Okay, so this was the equation. So what we can do is we will take this on the um, other side. So we will bring this in the other side. This will become ddt of delta t by delta qk dot, because this is a negative sign. So I will have a delta qk, and here I will have t minus v. So please remember, this is my qk and this is my qk. So only this term will be modified. So I will have delta t minus v by delta qk, and this whole term will be 0. Okay. So now since okay, since the potential v is only a function of generalized coordinates, not a function of generalized velocity. Okay, so this is not a function of generalized velocity, but only a function of uh, generalized coordinates. Okay, so what we can do is we can write equation again, that is ddt of delta once delta by delta qk dot, here I will write t minus v minus of delta by delta qk t minus v equal to 0. So this is the same equation as 13. Okay, so this one is like, okay, this equation, if you see this part, okay, so this component, the second part remains same, and here I have just substituted v because v is independent of qk dot, so it will automatically become 0. So I can write like this delta by delta qk t minus v, because delta v by delta qk dot is delta v by delta qk dot is 0. So that's why I can rewrite the equation like this. So now I give L equal to t minus v. So once I give L equal to t minus v, this L is called Lagrange of the system. So every time we give a problem, you have to calculate what is my L. Once you have L, you substitute in the Lagrange equation and you can solve the equation of motion. So I will substitute here. So what will be my final equation? The final equation will be ddt of delta L by delta Qk dot minus delta L by delta Qk equal to 0. So this is my equation of motion. So I will say this is my Lagrange equation of motion. So remember, the Lagrange equation is written in terms of generalized coordinates, where L is a function of Q and Qk dot. So from this part you can say that L is a function of Q Qk dot. So it's a function of generalized coordinate and generalized velocity. So these two are the uh, function. So L is function of these two, and sometimes T also. Okay. So this is the derivation in exams. We ask to derive Lagrange equation from the D'Alembert's principle. Okay, so this is like a 10 marks question. From D'Alembert's principle, you have derived Lagrange equation of motion. So this is the first derivation. Okay, so all of you have to practice this part. Okay, so today I will stop here, and we will have some polls because the new students they have never attended polls. So I will give some 3 to 4 questions. Give me a 5-minute break, and then we will have polls. Okay. Meanwhile, you remember these equations. Okay. Fine.
Okay, sir.